Hello there. Welcome to Knights of Mandalore. That's why we're getting 2 episodes this week. From now on, I'm gonna make sure to upload these like the day of, or the day after the episodes come out. So anyway, today we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 2, Tribes of Tatooine. This was way better than Episode 1. Loads better. We have no complaints about this episode opening up. So I got some notes here that we're going to go over. So start off. I love how it starts off with the door to Jabba's palace opening, which kind of mirrors Episode 6. And anytime you see Jabba, they always have the scene where the gate opens and you see in the distance over yonder the guest coming in. I love that. So I love how he's interrogating the assassin. He just drops him into the Rancor pit and goes, "Okay, dude, you're so tough," because previously the droid had said he's from this assassin group. They're fearless. They fear nothing. They'll never crack. I love he just drops him in the Rancor pit. He goes, "Okay, tell it to the Rancor." And then immediately, as soon as the gates open, the dude's like, "Oh my gosh, we were hired by the mayor." I loved it. It was so cool. Very much enjoyed that part because it's like, yeah. Very much like that part. So anyway, again, I liked how it how like immediately he got correct. So it turns out the mayor of the town hired the assassins. And I like how he goes to Boba goes to see the mayor, and I put in my notes, time for some aggressive negotiations. Fans of episode 2 will note that reference. Then we see our first live action Ithorian, or like our first like high res one, because you can see like the neck part moving as he like talks. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. Then I like how so he's like, I didn't send the assassins, and he's like, well, who did? And then he says, go to Garza's sanctuary. He goes to the bar. All of a sudden, he starts hearing intimidating drum beats. And then it's like Jabba's cousins are challenging Fett for his territory because they're saying this is Jabba's territory. Ipso facto, it's our territory. And Boba's like, well, no, I have claim over this land. So then for intimidation, they brought out this badass looking Wookiee, which kind of sounds like a predator. It actually sounds more animalistic. It pretty much looked like Tarful, but had more black fur. But it was just so cool. And so then we get so Boba is like basically intimidated, is threatened by the Hutts. He goes, sleep softly, essentially. So then we get another cutscene, a flashback of Boba back with the tribe. I was right last week. He's being more, he's accepted into the tribe. He's not a prisoner anymore. He's a member of the tribe. So then I like how he's being taught how to fight. And then the tribe's like cheering him on and everything. And then the tribe is under attack by pikes. And pikes were like these fish looking like aliens from Clone Wars, and then they were also they made brief appearances in Solo, maybe a little bit in Mando, I forget. So then the pikes attack, and then from this train, and they open up these little hatches like a World War I tank, and they're just firing out of it. So then the train just takes off running. And I like how so far this show is going significantly into like Tusken Raider culture, which is something that as of yet, we haven't really gotten this deep into it, because what we see here is that they get essentially a Viking funeral. They burn the bodies. And I like how Boba is learning to communicate with him. And he basically says, okay, I'm going to go take care of that train. Or I'll go get us the means to fight this train, because he sees some speeder bikes that are passing by. They have some Wequayan pirates. And for a second there, I thought there was going to be Hondo. So anyway, the pirates are like causing a mess of this bar. Then Boba shows up. The door opens, and then all you see is a silhouette. So I put in there Boba Batman, because it's pretty much like he's like Batman. And then he just lays complete and utter waste to these pirates, to the point where he's beating them with the rifle, and the rifle snaps in half, and he's like, take out the banthy stick, and continues like decimating the tribe. And it got to the point where I put in my notes, not impressed, because it basically reminded me of the Snyder Cut, where Superman essentially like destroyed Steppenwolf in the movie. Because that's how like severe this beating was. It was like, wow. It was just so cool. And this is showing they brought back the badass Boba Fett instead of the one that's constantly being beat up and thrown in the back of the tank. Love that, even though it's a flashback. But besides that, it's really cool. So he brings the speeder bikes back to the tribe. And I love how he's like, okay, it's a gift. And then they start taking him apart. And he goes, no, we're going to use these to take out the train. I'm going to teach you. And then he basically, I liked how he went down this whole little skill exchange thing. And what this is showing is that the level he is with the tribe, they trust him enough to teach them his ways as they teach him their ways. And I really like that little skill exchange. So then they come up with a plan to take out the train. Then they attack it and I'll launch a boarding action on the train. They get on, and then they're being like encircled on the train, and then the black robe to Tusken comes out of nowhere and just it's kind of funny is so the pikes are like standing up in the train on the top of the hatches like in Solo, and they're firing. So then you see the black robe Tusken, I'll call them black robes, go into the he infiltrates the train car. You obviously see the pikes being like pulled down like violently, and I'm like, oh, this is so dope. This is why I say this episode was like amazing. I freaking love this one. So then you see, I love so the train is being driven by like a spider-like droid, and he just jumps out as soon as he sees Boba. Boba stops the train. And then he has like all the surviving pikes like gathered around. And then I liked how we finally saw what they look like without the masks on. And it's pretty much, they look like fish. And then what he does is he basically tells them, okay, so this is Tusken Raider territory. If you want to come through here safely, you're going to have to pay a toll. If you attack us and kill us, we're going to kill you tenfold. Very simple. Now go walk all the way to Anchorage and deliver your message. So I like how Boba is essentially bringing more outside respect for the Tuskens. Like, don't mess with these guys. And then, so he got them one in respect. They put that in. So then, Boba's encouraging the Tuskens to be more assertive of their territory. Then, as a reward, they give him like a lizard thing that's supposed to like guide him. He's basically going down a spirit journey. The lizard jumps in his nose, and then he has this little what is it? It's like a vision quest. He sees this tree in the middle of Tatooine, tears off the branch, comes back, and then we see how they make like their sticks. It turns out that those Ganthy sticks are the result of their spirit trial. It's like a final rite of passage, and I really enjoyed seeing all that lore being expanded upon. They show him being like vested, and I liked the parallel where in the first episode they show the droids putting on his armor, and then now they're showing the Tuskens putting on his robes, which we saw in Mando season 2 when he showed up. Those are the black robes with the stick and all that. I really like that. So apparently we're seeing the lore on how he got that whole costume or get up. So now he's formally adopted as a Tusken Raider, and then they have this tribal induction dance, which I really thought was really cool. So that's what I got for episode 2. Vast improvement on episode 1, because first off, we saw Boba as not like a weakling, because episode 1 kind of showed him as a little bit of weakling in the modern times, because it's like Okay, so you go into one fight and you have to go back in the back tank. What is going on? Another thing I forgot to mention is that in his spirit vision, we see him on Camino as a child. I love that. I love all of the how the show is even referencing all the way far back as episode 2. So I really dig that. It shows like Django going out on his bounty hunting missions, on his Mandalorian missions, I should say. So, what else can I say about this episode? Yeah, action was flawless. Really loved it. I loved all the train fighting. There was a scene where Boba is teaching them how to use the bikes, and like they have like a little bit of slapstick comedy where he tells them, okay, so this is forward, this is stop, forward, stop. The dude just goes back, and then you see the speeder bike just. Really love that. I loved how he's teaching them how to like jump on the bike, and they're like, and they keep falling off. It was really funny, and yeah, I liked how it basically showed that, because in episode 4 we got like the introduction to Tusken Raiders, but they weren't like as expanded upon as they are now. You thought that they were just this threat, and then as lore was added on, you saw that they were like this tribe that they were like the victim of like colonialism, essentially. We saw that in Knights of the Old Republic, where you teamed up with Tusken Raiders first off, and which that was like a big mind. That was like my first exposure that these guys are more than just the dudes that attack you. Really like that. And then we saw a little bit more in Mando, and even Mando's like, show these people respect. So I think that's a good place to actually. I'm not going to leave it there. So theories for where I think this could go next. I think next episode is going to be a cameo, and we're going to get more of like an expansion on who hired the assassins. Or I think the Hutts are going to launch an attack on Jabba's palace, and we're going to see a fight inside of Jabba's palace. We could see a flashback to Boba working under Jabba. We could see young heroes like young Luke, young Leia, young Han. We could also see, I think we'll see more episode 2 stuff. It'd be cool. He's walking the halls and you see like the Kaminoans, you see clone troopers. It'd be really dope. So I think so far it's vastly improving. Now, what I'm wondering is, are they going to eventually like tell us why he seems to be wasting away kind of. Now, my theory is that, as we know, clones have like a growth acceleration. The thing is that Boba's, I thought of this at first. I was like, well, he's probably degrading because he's a clone. But as we know, Lama Su said no growth acceleration, which still he's getting kind of old, because it's like a long time from episode 2 to post episode 6, because Boba takes place in both timelines after episode 6. So it's probable that it's just old age. But I feel like there's more of a reason for that. Maybe like being in the Sarlacc pit affected him, but then he wouldn't be like be like fighting as well as he is like on the train and such. So what I think is that somehow we're going to see how he got injured or something like that. Maybe they'll show like what happened after Mando season 2 and how he got so injured. Because remember, actually, he wasn't even on the bridge. He just bailed, because otherwise they would have just left. So that's interesting. I'm wondering, I'm interested to see how they expand upon how Boba got injured. So anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you next week for episode 3. And again, really, really love this show. All right. McClunky.